This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Number 2 in a first-class fashion with Miami Dolphins fullback Alec Ingold, kind enough to join us now on the show. Alec, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
What the heck is up, dude? It's what is it, Thursday? Middle of March. Yep. Off-season program has not started yet, but the boys are ready to roll. What an off-season. It's been fun. It's been fun to follow.
You know, Alec, I'm glad you started with that because I'm so pissed, right? Because dude, I think your season was just about injuries. Yeah. Like, if you guys stayed healthy, look, I know you're going to have some injuries. It's the most brutal game in the world outside of hockey. You know, it's hard to stay healthy. So I get you're going to have some injuries, but the injuries were just ridiculous this year, right? And it just got to a point where it really derailed the season. And yet you guys almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. And so then I got all these media members, right? And I've been, obviously, I'm a member of the media for the last 33 years, but I got all these people spewing all this negative crap all over the place. And to me, I've told the Dolphin Nation, I'm even more excited about this season because you guys should have been better last year. And now you're adding more pieces to the puzzle. You're going to get more guys back. You'll get Trill back. You'll get Nick Needham back. You're going to get guys back that are actually going to help you that were injured last year. You're going to be deeper. You know, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg haven't had like injury-riddled careers yet last year, dude. Like, it's just like they didn't get a chance to grow. So for me, I'm really psyched about this season. So I feel what you guys are feeling. And I hope that the rest of the Dolphin Nation is feeling this because I'm convinced, and I haven't been this way in over 2 decades, Alec, you guys are headed in the right direction now, finally.
I like that. That's a long-winded intro to a big season. I feel like, but you're spot on. And I think injuries obviously play a part. There were a lot of guys that could have done, a lot more. But at the end of the day, I think in the locker room too, there wasn't very much like moral victories either. Like, I know that a lot of guys that were healthy throughout the season that wanted to win ball games, like, we know that there's an accountability to this thing too. Like, we left plays out there as players. And I think that's what's cool is you kind of benefit from both sides. You want to improve on both ways, right? Like, we weren't good enough and all of these things were handcuffing us. Sure. Cool. Other people can talk about that, but we're just going to focus on how we can continue to be better and keep giving ourselves chances to win ball games.
I'm with you there. And by the way, just to have a little fun here, your Twitter account is AI, obviously Alec Ingold _
Yeah.
and then you've got the Roman numerals 45.
Yeah.
Right? So Duke Riley has 45. So I'm just wondering, were there ever any negotiations when you first got here? Because obviously 45 is important to you because you've kept it on your Twitter handle. That's not what you're wearing on the field right now. So I'm wondering, any negotiations with Duke Riley for 45?
Yeah, it was one of those first things. Like, 45 is normally a pretty available number. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going many places where there's a 45. And so, I had a mutual connection with Duke. One of my boys from LSU roomed with him. So, what's up, Duke? What's up, man? Breaking bread, whatever, having conversation. He's like, yeah, 45 is my number. It's like, all right, you respect it. You respect it. You left it there. Leave it alone. And I think it was time for a little blank slate. And I'm not doing Roman numerals for 30 either. So if you got any ideas about that, we're not going there. I was number 45 for 7 years of my life, and that's when any recommendation for rookies, don't put numbers in logos, don't put numbers in Twitter handles, whatever, because it's just going to change. And then we're going to have this conversation. And then Roman numerals were cool, and now it's not. And it's a whole deal. It's a whole thing.
It's like don't tattoo your boyfriend or girlfriend's name on you, right?
100%. It's forever. Twitter handles are forever, just like tattoos.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it, bro. So I was wondering about that 45. I was going, damn, dude. He had to have some kind of negotiations going on there. So explain to us how Alec Ingold evolved into a fullback. Take us back.
I'm going to take you. Yeah, we're going to take a stroll all the way back to the high school days, playing quarterback. One of the biggest kids on the football field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's not the biggest hotbed it's not American Heritage. It's not St. Thomas Aquinas. Bayport High School. But we had
Damn,
some ball players.
a year in, and you learn quickly. Damn.
Yeah. Hey, I got you got a house down here. All of a sudden, you start following Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
No, but that was kind of. I had an offer, mid-major, NIU. Okay, you could do that. You could go that route, or really late offer at Wisconsin as an athlete, and we're just going to figure it out. So to be able to kind of take that leap of faith and like go with the big dogs, go in that dream offer and put that pride to the side of quarterback, and just now it's serve the team, find a way onto the football field, figure out what you're good at, and show up and trust some coaches. So I think that was a decision I made when I was 18 years old. And that goes from quarterback to linebacker to running back to fullback. And it was just that mindset of, man, I'm going to make sure these guys find a spot for me on the field, and I'm going to play. And it doesn't really matter what position. Football is football. I love playing it. And that's how you kind of become a fullback nowadays, I guess.
No, I got you. Do you still throw the ball around?
I love to throw the ball. So the broken thumb on the right hand from this last year, I broke it on Christmas. It's been a little hindering on the whole quarterback thing. You know,
okay.
I can't warm up the old gunslinger anymore.
I got you.
We're still in rehab protocols. I still have to touch all my fingers.
That's why they signed Mike White. You were going to take that spot, but they said, the thumb wasn't working. So they gave it to Mike White. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was an insurance thing. I get it. It's whatever. It's fine. I'm working on my Madden reads on cover 2 and cover 4 now. So, and that also doubles as the thumb exercises. So I'm still working.
All right, you got to get it because we got to have a fullback option one day. I can see Tua tossing it to you, and then you're rolling, and they think you're going to run. You're running with it, and you just throw it to Tyreek or Waddle for a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. What personnel are we going to be in? Is this going to be a goal line personnel, or is this like normal down and distance?
No, we're going to fool them completely. We're going to make them think goal line completely at that moment, and you're just going to psych them out, dude.
I love it. I love it.
That's it, bro. Rob Hunt will follow with you down the right side. You are a right-handed quarterback, correct?
I'm a right-handed quarterback. What if Rob Hunt actually plays center and they don't know where the ball is? But it was, I think maybe you put out the punter or the kicker out there too, just to really, he's out at wide receiver. Is he going to punt the ball right now on third down? Who knows? Okay. It's going to be the wildest of wild card plays.
I love it. I got to ask you also, when you talk about your book, The 7 Crucibles, and it obviously you're an inspirational person, and I've followed some of the interviews that you've done, and this kind of came from your knee injury, is kind of where you're in that dark place and you found a way to find a positive out of it. And I relate a lot to that because one of my sayings that I have to everybody is that success is fed off of failure. And to me, that's how it is, right? I mean, Michael Jordan got cut from his junior high team. You know what I'm saying? We fall off the bike and we got to get back on again. It's everything's about failure. You start writing for the first time and it's not even legible, but then you practice and then it becomes legible. Life is all about failure and then coming back from it or having setbacks in life. It really all depends on how you look at it and how you attack it. You know what I mean? Either you want to go down that negative hole or you want to say, okay, how do I overcome? And that's one of the beauties of what you have written about with the 7 Crucibles.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think there's a lot of moments in your life where you really get introduced to yourself all over again. You have some awareness of what your priorities are, what your routine is, what your habits are. And it's like when you get something stripped away from you, when it's an ACL, when it's becoming undrafted, when it's whatever you're dealing with. I think, a late scholarship offer, you could run down the list. Those pieces of adversity, you really understand, like, dang, like this is how bad I want it. This is what I'm willing to go through. This is how I'm going to adjust. This is how I'm going to figure out my priorities. This is how I'm going to reschedule things so that all of those no's can eventually turn into yeses. Those failures can turn into successes. And I think that process and how you go about it is so much more important on your approach rather than the results of it. Like, I'm going to write down big goals. I'm going to write down crazy goals. I'm going to write down scary goals. And I'm going to figure out a way to get any possible inch closer to that, right? And you're just going to keep going down that lane and that path until you become the best version of yourself. And I think that's really the whole main premise of that book. And when you have a torn ACL and you can't walk, you can't play, and then, you know, a GM comes in, brings you in office and says, you know, we don't need you anymore. You know, that's where, all right, how am I going to adjust? How am I going to react? How am I going to take these external circumstances that aren't ideal and make it into exactly what it was meant to be? And I feel like that's kind of that fight that everyone goes through.
You know, I've had the same kind of, you know, experiences being in radio for 33 years. It's a terrible business, and you have your ups and downs. And for me, one of the things that I find is that I can't feed negativity. I will not feed negativity, because if I feed negativity, it's just going to lead me somewhere where I'm not going to be in a good place. And I remembered when at one time I was at a one station, and they had this thing, they brought this new general manager in, and he had this thing about how he wanted to style the format, this, that, whatever. And he basically told me, yeah, we're going to go with athletes only on air and not traditional broadcasters. And we're going to move you to nights. And I had like, you know, 12 sponsors. And I'm like, well, what happens with my sponsors? You know, and all that. And he was like, well, don't worry, we will move some of them around. And I said, you know, I said, no, this is not going to work. And I left, and I went to another station that nobody listens to. But the following went with me. I had a great time, and I wasn't willing to be put in the corner that they wanted to put me in. You know what I mean? And then when I went to that place, it went chapter 11 4 years later. And then I found myself back to where I left because they wanted me back, because they realized that they kind of needed me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, what I'm asking you now is, I refuse to give in to negativity. When something bad happens to me, okay, I immediately turn to, how do I change this right away? Because I'm not going to feel like this. So what do you do? Because I know what I do, because I refuse to give into it. So when you had that knee injury, when you've had other setbacks that maybe you can talk about, what is that motivating factor for you? Because my motivating factor is, screw you. You're not getting me negativity. That's kind of the way I am about it.
Yeah, I think the first step is really understanding those intrusive thoughts, those negative emotions. It happens to everybody. So like embracing that, understanding that, like realizing that it's real. Like it is what it is. The second step is understanding that you control your thought after the thought. You control how you think about that original intrusive thought, which is what you're saying, right? You're going to go, listen, I feel that, I hear it. That's what happened. Here's how I can flip it. And that's a fight. And that's a muscle. That's something that doesn't get any easier as you go down that road. Like it's hard to fight, to stay positive every single day of your life. Like it's impossible. But if you build some habits, you build some standards about yourself, then you're able to stand on something. You're able to draw a line in the sand, know what you stand for, because something matters that much to you. And I feel like the final piece on execution and really like following through on eliminating those intrusive thoughts, controlling your thought after the thought, is really just being able to be yourself, to be able to bring life to it, to be able to take actionable steps. And like, you feel a certain way, but man, your standard, your priorities, your habits, your routine, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. Like show up and do the work anyways. Nobody cares. Work harder. Be better.
Right.
You know, like don't take offense to it. Don't take it personally. Taking something personally about going undrafted and 32 general managers and head coaches not saying you're good enough, is that on them or is that on me?
Right.
Like, let's just take it for what it is. Let's not let those intrusive thoughts in. And then let's go be better. Because at the end of the day, you're not good enough right now. And that's a similar thing on the ACL is like, man, you can have all of the negative thoughts in the world. I'm going to control my thought after the thought. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to want to be a better fullback after this injury than before. That's what I said I was going to do. And now let's stand on it. Let's be about it. So I feel like that's kind of my process.
And I think one of the things that's also really important for all of us, and it doesn't always happen, we got to believe in ourselves first and foremost. Okay. If we don't believe in ourselves, then you're going to have a hard time convincing anybody else, to believe in you. But when somebody does believe in you, it's obviously an incredible lift. You're in the rehab process coming off that injury. and Chris Greer picks up the phone and, reaches out to you guys to bring you in. That says a lot about the general manager, and that says a lot to you as a person that they believe in you even when you're not at your best at this moment.
Yeah, I think that's something where you have a phone call with general manager, a head coach, an offensive coordinator, running back coach, and they're all on the same page. Like there's all alignment there. There's a vision for your role. There's a vision for how you can improve. There's a vision for your skill set, how we can use you in the offense. Like, dude, that's all I needed to hear. It's the external circumstances, that external validation, like it's there and it feels good and it's motivating, but it's not forever. Like that can get you so far. And then the rest of it is on you, believing in yourself, like you said, first and foremost. Like that conviction, that comes from within inside. And if you have that environment around you, that support system, those people that are willing to invest in you and support you and, do the right things to be able to help you be the best version of yourself, man, then it's a wrap. Then it's a wrap. Then it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time before, things start clicking, the momentum starts building. It's that flywheel. Like, man, we're going to push this thing up the hill and it's going to be tough, but that momentum starts to build and things just start flowing. And then you're able to put together a season and a career that you're proud of.
Alec Ingold, fullback for the Miami Dolphins, joining us. Follow him on Twitter at AI_XLV. All right. So I got to say, and again, you obviously have, since you're writing that book, since, kind of analyzing the depths of darkness at times that we all go through, Foster Moreau just got some, disappointing news, unfortunately, and that he has lymphoma. And I love the way he responded that, hey, basically I'm going to go kick cancer's ass. And here you are retweeting it. And so, I thought that was really cool too, that you are on board with somebody else and helping them, mentally, like, hey, I'm on your bandwagon now. I'm going to help you at the same time emotionally fight this thing. I thought that was cool on your part.
Man, Foster and I, we roomed in a Hampton Inn and Suites in Alameda, California for 4 months straight. So we became very close as rookies in that draft class, or undrafted class. And, he's going to be in my wedding. He's going to be, we're really tight. And those are the type of brotherhood moments, the hours that you put in together, the sacrifice, the preparation phase, that's what makes locker room so special. That's what makes coach and player relationship so special, is because of all that time behind closed doors where you are going all in on something, where you believe on the same thing, the same vision, and whether you're going to succeed or fail, man, you're going to put everything you have into it. And that's the type of dude Foster is. That's the type of guy that I try to learn from, get inspired with. I'm actually older than him, right? But like I learned so much from that man and how he approached things. I have no doubt that he's going to do what he says, kick cancer's ass. But man, that was a tough phone call to get from him. Because you go so far with people, right? And you build so many great relationships in this business, and to have that stripped away from him for the foreseeable future because he's going to be fighting his own body, man, that's crazy. But you know what type of man he is, you know how he's going to approach it, and it's there's not a doubt in my mind he's going all in on that thing, and he's going to be back. So in whatever facet he determines, it's going to be on his circumstance. That's for sure.
Awareness is something that is so important in life. And obviously you have written a book on having the awareness of, hey, listen, we all go through tough times and how you fight through it. Have you found yourself to be a little bit more of a motivator, a guy that's trying to help people like Moreau in these tough moments where you reach out and pick up the phone? Have you done it? Maybe you don't have to say who the player is. Last year during the Dolphins season, maybe there was one of your teammates that you reached out for. Has that been a part of your life now too? Because obviously, as an adopted child, you know what it's like, how important it is to have support from different people, not just the people that you directly live with.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, and it's something where I think leadership comes from all the little things, all the little details, right? And being a leader, being a motivator, that title can mean so many different things to so many different people. I think if you're yourself, which I think Coach McDaniel is himself genuinely 100% through, he's able to lead a group of men because he is who he is and he stands on what he stands on. And when you're able to follow suit with something like that, you're able to go into the cold tubs. You're able to go into a practice facility. You're able to go in a weight room and be yourself. And that gives you the courage, that confidence, that conviction to have those little conversations when y'all are sending it, when y'all are dog tired during a conditioning test, during quarters that we have during training camp, and it's 99 degrees and 99% humidity out there. And those little conversations with people that end up building a culture, that end up building an identity for a team. Like that's the thing. So, I mean, you talk about having one phone call or whatever, man, it's a million during the day. It's every interaction. You got to be you all the time. And if people can hold each other accountable to that, you notice when people are off, you know what to say, you know how to say it, you know how to bring them along when they're not feeling it. Right. And I feel like that's where there's a lot of power in a team culture and a team identity that's built on being yourself, being real, and then holding each other accountable to a standard that you guys set together.
So let me ask you, you've gone through the experience of being an adopted child, and I heard you say you're going to get married. This is pure ignorance. I don't know. Are you going to adopt, or have you adopted? Do you plan on doing that, or do you plan on going through that experience yourself? Since you lived.
I mean, I lived it and I saw how impactful it was. And to be, a spokesperson for the foster care system for, kids that have been adopted, looking to be adopted, parents that are looking to adopt, it is really cool to see that. And I think the number one thing is just having that communication. And so my fiance and I, we're going to have those talks and we're going to figure out, but it's like having a plan and being able to execute it is the biggest thing when you think about adoption. Is like, can we support this? How are we going to support this kid? Is it going to be, are we going to look for kids that have been in the system for a decade? Because there's so many kids that are at risk of aging out. Are we going to take that leap of faith? Do you look at, a million different options? So having open, honest communication, I think that's something that my parents did that was amazing, was that they were able to talk everything out through me. Nothing was a secret, right? And I feel like if you go through that process that way, open and honestly, as a family, man, I think that's what's some of the most exciting parts of getting married this summer and having those conversations and changing lives together. It's going to be really fun.
What did it mean to you to win the award, the CCAI 2022 National Angel in Adoption Award?
Awards are a funny thing, man. Like we've talked about this a number of times, like already the external validation, because it is motivating. It lets you know that you're on the right path, that you're supporting people, but it's like not why you do it. Right. So I think it is really cool to have congressional awards like that for organizations to support and acknowledge people doing the right things, and then to go to those events, to meet people, to network with them, right? And to be able to be like, okay, this is what they're doing out in Nebraska. This is what they're doing up in Boston. This is what they're doing down in Florida or Nevada. And it's like you get to learn and share and break bread and communicate on all these great ideas, so that you can just help your community, your little corner of the world, that much better.
Yeah, listen, all the awards are great, but if you reach one kid, that's the ultimate satisfaction there. I mean, if you're able to do that. But by the way, in Swameco, you probably reached a lot of the elementary kids with all those dance moves of yours.
That was man, I was put on a tough spot there. We're back at the elementary school, third grade teacher. We're doing the Tootsie Roll. That's what I did when I was 8 years old. And she's like, "Oh, do you remember? Oh, we're gonna dance like right now. All these cameras are here, whatever. We're gonna catch that." Great, perfect, love that, love it. I really appreciate that, Miss Michael. So, no, it was a fun time.
Did Mike Gesicki reach out and try to steal that move from you for next year?
I don't think anyone's gonna reach out about stealing any of that. It was terrible. It was the worst thing ever. My little sister's a dancer, like world-class dancer, and she was embarrassed to be associated with that.
I love it. All right, so let me ask you a couple fullback questions.
Yep.
Walk us through now, as since we don't play the game at your level, man. Some of us might have played at a much lower level, all those things. So walk us through Alec Ingold's responsibilities on a regular running play when he breaks the huddle. Talk to us the checklist that you're going through at that moment.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, you can go all the way to Pop Warner. Like, what's it on and who am I hitting? Right. That's what I was told in Pop Warner at like 5 years old. So, I mean, those are the fundamentals that you carry with for forever. So, yeah, when we're breaking the huddle, it's like a lot of eye discipline, knowing where to put your eyes. And then defensive guys, they're getting smart, so they know, okay, if he's looking at me, he might come and block me. So then sometimes you have to look the wrong way. Sometimes you have to look the right way. However, you have to scan the defense, make sure you're playing the game within the game. And then it's, honestly, it's just knowing your assignment, knowing what these different defensive adjustments, when safeties are rolling, when all of a sudden linemen are moving, when linebackers are making different calls and you're hearing things, it's like, okay, this adjustment might happen, that adjustment might happen. So this is pre-snap, I don't even know if it's recognition more so than like you're getting prepared for all of the different things that could happen post-snap. You're getting prepared for it. And then, man, once it post-snap as a fullback, a million different things can happen in front of you with, different assignments, different guys moving different places. So you have to go no hesitation, go clean somebody up, right? Like you can't. The last thing I'm going to do is stay in Raheem's way because he's way faster than I am. It's not even close. I don't even want to know what a race would look like. So I got to get out of his way, and I got to make sure that I'm getting a hat on my assignment. And however we're going to do that, we're going to do it a million miles an hour. We're going to do it with great technique. We're going to be aggressive and make it a track meet, and just get out of Raheem's way so he can bust a big run. That's my job.
On your Twitter profile, you got this big old thing on the top that says Hitman. So is there anything more satisfying for you than a great block? Because that kind of that's what I get from that. It's like, yeah, I love my job, and when I make contact with somebody and put them on their ass, that's when I'm happiest. So talk to me about the perfect block. Is that the ecstasy in football for you?
Yeah, I think same foot, same shoulder, getting low pad, like low man wins, right? You got your forehead on another guy's chin, and you're running through squared up. It's unbelievable because it can make a loud sound, or it could be like either a huge block or not a huge block, go down to the ground, whatever. But when you hit exactly technique, exactly how it's supposed to be, it feels like you're just hitting paper, like you're just running through it. And it's like one of the best feelings ever. It's like the sweet spot on a Louisville Slugger. And it's a great feeling to have. And it's even better when you're at the point of contact, the ball's coming right behind you, and that's going to be the difference between an explosive run or 2nd and 6. I feel like those are the little inches, those little details, those little moments that you got to live for as a fullback.
Yeah, and by the way, there's a lot of people that wanted me to ask you about Matt Milano. I think they want you to make sure you put a good block on Matt Milano the next time around.
Okay, I got that. Yeah, I'll any of those Bills. I apologize to the mic'd up crew on the Buffalo Bills game when I was mic'd up, because I don't know what happened. I talked a lot more in that game on those clips than ever before, ever. So I apologize for all that for the Dolphins fans out there. It's not how I normally play ball.
It is awesome. All right, so tell me a little bit about McDaniel and this offense. What is it about? What are you expecting from this offense this year? Because here's another thing that I think of. Again, I'm not going into the abyss, my brother. I'm not doing that. Can you imagine if he gets the tight end to where he needs it to be, because he wants an active tight end, that pass catching, blocking, all that stuff? They didn't really have that feature in this offense last year. And then in the running game, there were times you guys were running, and then there were times, it was a little inconsistent. If this offense gets the tight end that he's looking for, okay, and gets the play and the running game, although there were times, I got to tell you were gouging the Bills for 7 yards a carry. You were gouging the Green Bay Packers for 9 yards a carry. God, I wish you would have kept running, because you were knocking them on their asses. But if this running game really gets going and the tight end becomes a bigger factor in the offense, dude, you guys are going to be scary as hell. Scary.
When you talk expectations as an offense, I feel like it's a scary word, because you almost don't want to put a box around it, right? You don't want to define who you're going to be, or what roles are going to be played, or who is able to win games here or there. Like, you want a bunch of closers on your team, whether it's running the ball, throwing the ball, explosive plays, methodical plays. Like, you want to be able to win a million different ways, and to be able to have a cold weather game, a rainy weather game, a beautiful sunny South Florida game, and be able to be competitive, move the ball, and score touchdowns and make plays, right? So as an offense, I feel like a lot of guys in the second year, it's going to be supreme ownership of your role, of carving that thing out, owning every part of it, and being able to be ready for when your number's called, because there's so many guys on the offense that can play ball. Like, be consistent, maintain that level of discipline and be ready for that shot when you got it, because there's going to be a different game. I'm sorry, my dogs are all excited.
You're good. I got 4 at home, bro. I'm a dog guy. So you're good.
He's saying that expectations are scary and that we should all be ready to make some plays on offense, like all 11 guys. I don't care. Right. Rob Hunt might take the ball and score another touchdown. I don't know.
That actually would be pretty damn cool. Actually, that would be a good thing. All right, so 2 quick things before I let you go. Alec Ingold Foundation. How can we help out? Tell the folks out there.
AlecIngold.com is where you're going to find everything. Foundation, book, mindset coaching, speaking, whatever it is. And for the foundation, we're trying to put some stuff together in South Florida. Football camp for kids in adoption, foster care. So just stay in tune, stay connected. Go to that website, follow up for that, like a little weekly email newsletter we have going on, so that you can find a way to get involved, whether you want to volunteer, whether you want to donate. It's all there at AlecIngold.com/foundation.
Okay. 2, what kind of music you like?
I'm a big hip hop guy. J. Cole is one of my guys.
Okay. My daughter loves J. Cole. He's a man. Loves J. Cole. All right. Do you like any kind of regular music, pop music, any other type of music?
So I got a little vinyl record player here. We got the Eagles. We got
classic.
Yeah, rock. we got some throwback stuff here.
Okay.
Temptations.
So you're an inspirational guy. Okay. All right. Have you ever heard of music that's called ska? Ska music?
No, I haven't.
Ska is like a mix of reggae, punk, and rock. Okay. And so there's a band called The Interrupters. All right. I want you to check out The Interrupters. Check out some of their lyrics. Fantastic lyrics. Take Back the Power, Title Holder, A Friend Like Me. I just want you to listen. It's great music, actually.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But the lyrics, a lot of their lyrics are very inspirational. Okay. So it's actually a pretty cool. I love the band. They're fantastic. But their lyrics kind of reminds me a lot of you. And I think, with the book, The 7 Crucibles, which, by the way, why don't you tell people where they can get the book too, by the way?
You can get it on Amazon or AlecIngold.com. So that'll all be right there for you. Amazon's like 2 days. Like if you're listening to this right now, it might show up tomorrow morning. Who knows? So it's pretty impressive. And then I'm going to go hit up these interrupters.
The Interrupters.
The Interrupters. Yes. I'm going to listen to that.
Yes. And I Gave You Everything is my favorite song of theirs. But check it out. You'll like it, man. I appreciate you. And thank you for your time, Alec. Look forward to seeing you in the locker room, or who knows, maybe we'll bother you during training camp.
Love that. Sounds good. Thanks for the time, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you. There you go. Alec Ingold, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good interview with the fullback of your Miami Dolphins. Really enjoyed that interview.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.